Peace, family. It's your brother, Marc Lamont Hill. You're watching the Marc Lamont Hill official YouTube channel. I appreciate y'all for your patience. I know this is a much longer wait than you anticipated. Sorry, I had to deal with some family stuff, but it's dealt with, and life is good. And now I'm able to talk to you all. I am so sorry for the delay, but I appreciate the patience. I was trying to stay in conversation with y'all in the chat so that you all would know that I'm still here, that I didn't disappear. But I'm grateful for y'all, man. I'm gonna do a couple quick shout outs, man, to people around. Matter of fact, do me a favor. Tell me that you hear. If you hear, write present if you hear right now, just so I know that y'all here with me, because I shout out some people that probably already left the room. And again, apologies to anybody who left before I could get back. I do sincerely apologize. I'm so grateful for those of you who were able to wait, and those of you who have just entered the room. I see you. We got Brian Carrillo here, or Carrillo, I'm not sure. We got Boaz Kim Music. We got Baby K is presente. See, Shada's still in the building. I thought she left. Susie is here. Odette Marie is here. Sammy Ali is here. R is here. B Moore's in the building as always. I see you, Ebony. Thank you again for your generosity earlier. I'm grateful. Jazz LP, Dallas's Finest is here, and she also sent me a wonderful prayer. I saw it and I appreciated it. Thank you so much. It means more than you know. Karen D is here. Jessica Burns is here. Rosability, we've been talking in the chat, but I see you here. ML McKinney is here. Chef Shia, I see you change that government. I appreciate it. Marco Thorarity is here. Chad Zichterman is still here. Yo, man, y'all are so dope. Y'all are the dopest crew that I know. Tiny the Creator is here. Bob is here for the third time. He said, yo, I'm grateful to all of you all. And while I'm excited to see you here, I'm less excited about the reason why we're here. Israel has waged a war on Gaza, and we have now reached day 192. Day 192 of Israel's war on Gaza. It's been devastating, and this week has been incredibly complicated and messy because of what's going on with Iran's retaliatory strike against Israel after Israel's strike of Iranian targets not too long ago. So here are the updates, and I'm going to start with the numbers. I don't like starting with the numbers, but it's important to start with the numbers. 33,729. That is now the official number of Palestinians who have been killed since October 7th. 76,371, in addition, have been wounded in Israeli attacks on Gaza since October 7th. 33,729 have been killed. 76,371 have been wounded in Israeli attacks on Gaza since October 7th. The death toll in Israel from Hamas's October 7th attack stands at 1,139, with dozens of people still held captive. Those are the numbers. And those numbers are not getting lower because they can't. Death tolls don't get lower, but the rate can get lower. The pace can slow down. But unfortunately, I mean, there hasn't even been one day, and I say this all the time, there hasn't been one day where the number didn't go up. It's just one day where Palestinian doesn't get killed since October 7th by Israel. Imagine that. But the numbers keep going up, and I will start with some of the updates on why they're going up. 5 people have been wounded in an Israeli air raid near the European hospital south of the city of Khan Yunis, the Wafa news agency reported on Sunday. Those reports come from medical sources. But 5 people being wounded in an Israeli air raid, sadly, is considered a decent day. Now, those wounds are often severe. Every day, multiple Palestinians are amputated. I mean, we're talking about severe wounds here sometimes. These aren't Band-Aid wounds. Oftentimes, we're seeing significant slices of the Palestinian population deeply and severely wounded. And it's scary, frankly. Displaced Palestinians trying to return to their homes in northern Gaza recounted being shot at by the Israeli army in a video verified by Al Jazeera on Sunday. This is another important point. You know, the argument by the Israeli government has always been, we evacuate people for safety, and when it's over, you can go back. Well, what we've learned throughout history is that's just never been the case. People in 1948 thought that they could come back, and they couldn't. So when we saw the evacuations in the northern part of Gaza, many people around the world, we were like, this doesn't look good. This doesn't promise to be a good outcome for anybody. And so as people went from the north to the south, and they ended up in the central area, and then eventually most of them in Rafah, 1.5 million people are in Rafah right now, maybe 1.4. We said, will they ever be allowed back north? I mean, hell, many of us are still worried about whether or not they're going to be completely removed from Gaza and placed into the Sinai, that they're going to go on the other side of the border and end up in various parts of Egypt, or maybe in Jordan, or maybe elsewhere. And so there's a deep concern about this, and that deep concern has resulted in something very, very problematic. And sometimes, in some instances, people are just like, you know what? I know they ain't let me back, so I'm just going to leave. Even people like Abdul Wahab Abu Warda, who one of the doctors from Al-Shifa Hospital, who I interviewed this week or last week, he talked about that. He talked about it right here in night school. The desire to get his family out of Gaza because 31 people were killed. And I'm like, yo, but what if they don't let you back? He's like, I can't worry about that right now. I just need my family safe. I understand. The idea of coming home and returning home and standing 10 toes is great, but like, you also don't want to die, and you don't want your loved ones to die. He's willing to stay and engage in the most beautiful display of sumud, of steadfastness, but he's not going to make his children or his aunties or his uncles or his parents or his cousins, he's not going to make them casualties simply to make an ideological or political point. So that's one response. Another response is to wait it out or to relocate in another part of Gaza. But I mean, the density of Rafah is so intense, you can't just leave the north and just move to Rafah. Rafah is intended to hold 250,000 people, and now it holds 1.5 million. It's not sustainable. Other folk are making compromises, and then some people are just trying to go back home. Well, what we saw this past weekend is that many of the people who traveled back up north and just tried to go into their homes, they were shot at by the Israeli army. They were deemed as enemies. They were deemed as combatants. They were deemed as threats, not because they had weapons, not because they were aggressive, but because they were attempting to return home. Now, Israel may say something different. They may say, well, it wasn't time to come home yet. It wasn't time to return home yet. We thought that they were combatants because they were in the north, and the north is no longer Hamas free, so we had to do something different. I can't argue. I can't argue that point. I don't know. I don't know what the Israeli military is thinking, but I do know that there's a lot of innocent people that keep getting killed by the Israeli military. People at the Kuwaiti circle killed, waiting for food. People in Rafah killed, sitting in their homes. People in Khan Yunis killed, trying to access a hospital. People in Gaza City killed, trying to stand outside of a hospital. I mean, there's just no reason to trust or believe that all these innocent people dying are just an accident or a mistake, or that they're not innocent and they're really, secret terrorist cells. Like, come on, man. Come on. Enough. Anyway, early on Sunday, booms and air raid sirens sounded across Israel after Iran launched hundreds of drones, ballistic missiles, and cruise missiles in an unprecedented, they're calling it a revenge mission. I don't know if I love the way it's framed, but that pushed the Middle East closer to closer to a region-wide war. Revenge mission still sounds like it's driven by something other than like a legitimate response to an attack. In other words, I would rather call it a retaliation mission than a revenge mission. Revenge sounds like something else. But Israel's on high alert, and they made it very clear. In Washington, D.C., President Biden said that U.S. forces helped Israel, to get down to kind of eliminate nearly all the drones and missiles and pledged to convene allies to develop a unified response. But what Biden also said was, we're not going to war with Iran with you. You on your own, my brother. Of course, we also saw this past weekend, Antonio Guterres call for de-escalation at a UN Security Council meeting to discuss strikes on Israel. And I think that's the right answer. I think that's the right answer. Iran's ambassador to the United Nations told the meeting that his country was left with no choice but to act after the international community failed to denounce Israel's attack on its embassy in Syria on April 1st. The Israeli ambassador called for all possible sanctions against Iran, saying Tehran had crossed a red line. This is so fascinating. Israel bombed the Iranian embassy in Damascus, in Syria, on April 1st. The global community said nothing. Now, the Iranian ambassador is saying, wait a minute, now you hit us too? Oh, we need sanctions. Oh, there's a red line. Yeah, there should be a red line. I agree. But the red line can't only be connected to Israel. The red line has to be connected to Iran, Syria, Jordan, Palestine, Somalia, Yemen. We should have we should hold everybody to the same standard. But we often don't. And while, just to be clear, on another note, while President Biden has made it clear that he's not going to lend military support for a retaliatory attack against Iran, President Biden did urge congressional leaders to pass a spending bill that includes $14 billion in aid for Israel. $14 billion in aid. That is stunning. That is stunning and that is disturbing. I haven't talked about the West Bank in a while, so let me just talk really quickly about the West Bank. At the same time that Gaza is under siege and it's being bombarded and it's being targeted for a genocide, there is a genocide going on in Gaza. I don't want you all to think that the West Bank has gone unscathed. Just this morning, Israeli forces arrested 8 people in early morning raids across the occupied West Bank. 6 people were arrested in raids near the city of Tulkarem, while 2 were arrested from Kafr Nima, west of the city of Ramallah. These are not small things. Israeli settlers uprooted 30 olive trees and several almond trees in the town of Qarawat Bani Hassan, which is west of Sarfit in the West Bank. Why does this matter? Well, first of all, the act of uprooting olive trees is an act of violence. It's an act of sort of aggression against Palestinians and against Palestinian culture. The symbolism of the olive tree is its commitment to, or its connection to, Palestinian commitment to the land. In other words, olive trees are a symbol of steadfastness, again, of sumud. And the Israeli settlers that are uprooting it because they don't want the remembrance of Palestinian life. They don't want the remembrance of Palestinian presence and Palestinian existence in the region. And they also use it as a provocation. I spend a lot of time in Israel and in Palestine, and when I'm there, I often see the settlers in the Palestinian territories provoking, trying their best to get a reaction. They do offensive or transgressions or commit offensive transgressions against Palestinians, and they hope Palestinians respond because they know that the military response to the Palestinian response is going to be so over the top that they're able to achieve their goal of caging more Palestinians or killing more Palestinians. It is beyond frustrating. It's shameful. If there was any secret that Israel was going to respond to Iran, it went away. The secret disappeared when Israeli military chief Herzi Halevi told soldiers that Iran's attack will be met with a response. He said, we do not seek to expand the war, but we will cut off every hand that attacks our country. That didn't come from Halevi. That came from an Iranian army spokesperson. So Iran is saying, look, we don't want the smoke, but if you bring it, we got something for you. Another thing that's been really striking has been the fact that a mass grave was discovered at Al-Shifa Hospital, which is in Gaza City. 10 bodies have been recovered from this mass grave at Gaza City. That is again, I wish it were a small thing, but it isn't. Anyway, we're here, family. That's the Gaza update. So much going on in the world, so much that I want you all to know, so much that I need y'all to know. Sophia asks, is it the same mass grave? I'm not sure. But the reports today were different from a different report. So I don't know if the number's grown or if it's a different context. I just know when I see a mass grave, 10 people near a hospital, I'm disgusted and disturbed by it. Before we go, I just want to send a couple more shouts out to people. Shana is back in the building as a member. Darnell Bolton, best of luck on that dissertation, family. Let me know if there's any way I can be a resource to you, because dissertation life ain't no joke. ABD life ain't no joke. But I promise you, it gets greater later. Once you finish that dissertation, you're going to be good money. You're going to be good money. Wow. Dissertation. In 48 hours, we're going to have our first PhD produced while being a member of the channel. I'm not claiming credit for Darnell's PhD. I'm just saying it's dope to see somebody going through that journey in our membership halls. Odette Marie, thank you. I love the hustle gang, yo. You know I'm over here hustling, man. Same thing. C-Shot, I appreciate y'all for the generosity, and for the hashtag. The hashtag is crazy. R, thank you so much for gifting 5 memberships. R gifted 5 memberships. Not only did y'all hang with me, not only did y'all stay long, y'all stayed and donated and were generous. I'm grateful to everybody here in this community for your commentary, for your presence, for your steadfastness, and the love, man. I'm so grateful. I can't even tell you how much I appreciate who y'all are and what you all provide for me as a community. It's beyond a blessing. Everybody, thank you for watching. Hit the like button if you like what we're doing here. Just hit the like button. If it's 140 people on, I'd love to see 140 likes. Hit the subscribe button if you're not a subscriber to the channel. Do that right now. Just hit that little subscribe button. Also, click that bell to get updated notifications when I post new content. And of course, if you're so inclined, hit the join button. Join and become a member of the Marc Lamont Hill official YouTube channel. I'm telling you, membership has its privileges. Y'all got no idea. I'm so grateful for y'all, man. Of course, if you want to, if you're so inclined and you want to drop something in our coffers but don't want to buy a membership, you can always go to Cash App or Venmo and just drop MLHTV on Cash App with the $sign or with the @ on Venmo. You can drop something right in. If everybody on line right now, if everybody watching this Gaza update gave $5, if everybody Cash App or Venmo $5, we would meet all of our goals. We would have a week with the right editors, content, scripts, and we'd have something to put down toward that studio we're building. So it would be dope. I appreciate you. Chef, I appreciate. She said, I Cash App you every time one of my kids asks for money. That's hilarious. And I'm sure it pisses them kids off. But what's better than pissing your kids off? All right, thank you. I'm grateful for you as well. ML McKinney won. I don't know, the like button ain't working. That's wild. Okay. Well, do the best you can with what you got. I'm just still high off these 5 memberships that are just got us, man. Thank y'all so much for supporting. I'm so grateful to y'all. I love y'all. I'll see y'all tomorrow. Peace.